Dragon Ball Evolution writer Ben Ramsey apologizes to the fans. This article, of course, from our buddy Derek Padula from the Tao of DragonBall.com. Of course, you guys should check out the Tao of DragonBall.com. There's some really, really fantastic articles there, as well as check out Derek's books. Derek is a great writer. I'll be doing a review on some of his books very, very soon. I have to finish them. I have to finish the books, but very, very good stuff over there at Tao of Dragon Ball. Really high-level Dragon Ball stuff. But I want to talk about this article here. I guess Derek is in contact with Ben Ramsey, and he's the guy who wrote the Dragon Ball Evolution movie. He wrote the script for it, and it's just funny. He asked me to tell you that he's sorry, and pretty much what happened was that, from what I understand from the article, Derek pretty much hit up Ben for some quotes, I guess, for a book he's writing, and then you guys know this movie is pretty much universally despised by Dragon Ball fans. I don't know many fans who actually like this movie. It's really, really despised. Now, I will say this, guys. I will say this. The movie didn't really come out so bad as a result of just Ben Ramsey. Everybody involved kind of was, because it was made by Fox, and Fox did not really understand Dragon Ball. Ben Ramsey did not understand Dragon Ball. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where the director kind of fucked up. So there's all these different factors. It wasn't just Ben Ramsey, but essentially Ben apologized, and there you see him right there. And the quote here, which I'm going to read to you guys, says, I knew that it would eventually come out to this one day. Dragon Ball Evolution marked a very painful creative point in my life. To have something with my name on it as the writer be so globally reviled is gut-wrenching. As a writer, yeah. In other words, he's saying he doesn't feel right that his name is attached to a project that's so hated. To receive hate mail from all over the world is heartbreaking. I spent so many years trying to deflect blame, but at the end of the day, it comes down to the written word on the page, and I take full responsibility for what was such a disappointment to so many fans. I did the best I could, but at the end of the day, I dropped the Dragon Ball. He goes on to say, I went into the project chasing after a big payday, not as a fan of the franchise, but as a businessman taking on an assignment. And that's really the big problem I think a lot of people have with Dragon Ball Evolution, is that you could tell that the people involved making this movie, almost all of them had no idea about Dragon Ball. They didn't read the manga, they didn't watch the anime, they didn't even watch the anime dub. Like, very little information, very, very little knowledge, you know what I mean, about what Dragon Ball was all about, and I have very little understanding. And I kind of wish that Ben was in contact with Derek back then, because I feel like Derek wasn't really the same Derek back then, but Derek's always been pretty knowledgeable. So I feel like if you would have talked to Derek, Derek would have been like, listen, that doesn't make sense, do this, do that, because Derek has a very good understanding of Toriyama. So I think it would have been a little more of that. Plus, this movie legitimately irritated Toriyama, as he said in interviews. And in some ways, folks, this is going to sound weird, but to understand what I'm trying to tell you, Dragon Ball Evolution is actually somewhat responsible for the Dragon Ball Renaissance, which I'm going to get to here in a minute. So, to finish the quote, he says, I have learned that when you go into a creative endeavor without passion, you come out with suboptimal results and sometimes flat-out garbage. So I'm not blaming anyone for Dragon Ball but myself. As a fanboy of other series, I know what it's like to have something you love anticipate be so disappointing. To all the Dragon Ball fans out there, I sincerely apologize. And he also puts over Light of Hope. He says Light of Hope is, very, very good. He said it was awesome. And Derek is pretty much, he helped out with Light of Hope. So most of you guys down there in the comment section, I've seen a lot of people love Light of Hope. It is definitely much more truer to the original vision than Dragon Ball Evolution was. But here's the interesting thing, guys. I'm going to... Derek's asking for responses, so I'm going to leave the link to this blog down below. Leave a comment down below here in the comment section if you want to ask Ben a question or ask Derek a question, because it says here, Ben, he says he pretty much is asking to hear your reply. And please don't, if you're going to leave a comment, don't just troll the guy, because he knows the movie was ass water by now. He's aware of it, and there's no reason to remind him. I mean, as far as the apology goes, I do accept the apology as a fan, even though I'm sure he doesn't give a shit. I'm just a fan. But That's the big problem, guys. It's a lesson learned here, is that you have to have passion. This guy was cashing in a paycheck because, let's be honest, all of you guys know Dragon Ball is like a cheat code. Dino Rhymestyle refers to Dragon Ball as a cheat code because it's so easy to, it's such a big series, so easy to make money on it. You know what I mean? If you're making a movie or whatever, you know, it's not very, very easy, but a Dragon Ball movie was going to make money, and this one did not. And part of the reason was because you could tell from the beginning, from the initial trailer, you could tell that the shit wasn't going to go right. Just didn't capture the characters correctly. Really, that's the main problem, is you can do an adaptation that's not 100% accurate, but when you miss what the characters are all about, that's the big thing. So, again, leave a comment down below in my comment section and let me know what you think about the apology, and then if you want, I will put the link to Tao of Dragon Ball, this particular blog, so you guys can go over there and leave a comment for Derek, and definitely support Derek and his projects. I'm hoping to have an interview with Derek in the next couple of months here, once I get some stuff finished and I finish up his books. It's my fault. I have to read the books. I have to finish it. It's just I've been crammed with so much stuff. I'm almost done with the first one, though. But they're very good. And they're high-level knowledge shit, you know. But check out Tao of Dragon Ball, folks. And, well, to quote Scar from... I said this on social media. Here's my message to Ben Ramsey or whatever. I accept your apology, but like Scar said, run away and never return. So... he should never be involved in Dragon Ball again. Or if he is, at least do your homework. Oh, and that's the other thing I was going to say. The reason why Toriyama, why this is such actually, there is a light of hope. There is a light of hope here, is that if it wasn't for this, Toriyama would not have gotten involved in Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods and worked with Yusuke Watanabe, and then that would have led to, you know, Resurrection F and Super. So in a weird way, this movie actually kind of got Toriyama involved again. So thanks, Ben. I'll catch y'all down the road.